There are three easy principles you must understand in order to get rid of your yeast infection for good. The three critical principles you must know are: 1. What Candida yeast infection really is and why you have it. 2. What doesn't work and what makes your yeast infection worse. 3. The only proven way to get rid of Candida yeast infection forever. So, what can you expect if you embrace these three easy principles? Well, you can permanently cure your yeast infection within 30 to 60 days, stop vaginal, male, and oral yeast infections within 12 hours, eliminate fatigue, muscle aches, and mood swings completely, end digestive disorders and allergies, reverse skin-related yeast infections, stop the rashes, burning, itching, and discomfort, save thousands of dollars on drugs and doctor visits, regain your energy and vitality, and dramatically improve your quality of life. So let me reiterate. If you watch this video from start to finish and follow what I teach you, you will undoubtedly see and feel your yeast infection fade away. Don't worry, this is not another sales page for yeast infection medication, another topical antifungal cream or lotion, another crazy anti-candida diet protocol, another weird vitamin therapy, or another herbal or Chinese yeast infection remedy. This is real information that you can use right now. You might be wondering who I am and why I am sharing this critical material with you. My name is Linda Allen, and I am a certified nutrition specialist, health consultant, medical researcher, speaker, and author. I am also a former yeast infection sufferer. Over the past 14 years, I've helped men and women in 157 countries to permanently get rid of their Candida yeast infections and dramatically improve the quality of their lives. And today, I would like to help you. Chances are I know exactly how you feel right now because I've been there myself and seen it with thousands of my clients. Maybe you're extremely confused about yeast infection. You've heard crazy things like, "It doesn't exist," or "You can't completely get rid of it." You're deeply frustrated because everything you've tried has not worked. You're fed up with all the empty promises, quick fix scams, and sleazy treatment ripoffs. You want something that works, and works quickly, to get rid of your Candida infection and keep it away forever. Are you suffering from any of the following symptoms? Itching or burning sensation in your intimate parts? Depression or mood swings? Vaginal odor or vaginal discharge? Chronic rashes? Constant tiredness or fatigue? Irritability? Headaches or frequent migraines? Food allergies? Increased craving for simple carbohydrates? Yeast infections in your toenails or fingernails? Unexplainable feeling of not being yourself? Are you just downright frustrated because you know there must be an answer to your problem, but you just haven't been able to find it? Well, you just found it. Take a deep breath, close your eyes, and imagine this. You wake up in the morning about 4 to 6 weeks from now, step out of bed, and as you wash your face and look in the mirror, it hits you. Your Candida yeast infection is gone, as in wiped out completely. Suddenly, there is no itching, rash, or redness down there, and no thrush, athlete's foot, or any other type of skin yeast infection you may have had. Your skin is smooth, your hair is thicker, and your eyes are brighter. Your fatigue and all of the digestive disorders you suffered from have disappeared, and you feel mentally clearer, lighter, happier, healthier, and more energetic than you have in ages. And it's all because you finally figured out the answer you've been searching for. If you're anything like me, you've probably been beating your head against the wall for years, or maybe even decades, because you simply could not find a real solution for your yeast overgrowth, a solution that could get you lasting freedom from Candida infections. My story began in my late teens. When most of my peers were experiencing optimal health, I began a downward spiral that would last for more than a decade. It all began innocently enough one winter, with a sinus infection that I couldn't shake off, followed by a vaginal yeast infection. Then, infections continued to return. My doctor began treating me with rounds of antibiotics, each set stronger than the last. They would work only for a few weeks, though, and then I'd be back to square one. This went on for months without my doctor showing much concern. "You're just more susceptible to colds and viruses than most people," he'd say, giving me yet another prescription. "No need to worry." With spring knocking at the door, my doctor switched gears, prescribing allergy medication to help clear my head and nasal passageways. My initial symptoms were slowly improving, but I still wasn't feeling like, well, me. To be honest, it was hard to pinpoint exactly what was wrong. I wasn't really sick, but I wasn't really well either. I had listlessness, fatigue, brain fog, stomach ailments, unexplained rashes, skin infections, and so on. It seemed like every day brought a new challenge. My energy was sapped, and I felt exhausted, which affected my grades and put a big dent in my social life. The summer months brought a bit of a reprieve, but that was short-lived. By Christmas, I was again experiencing a repeat of the previous winter, only now I had a gruesome new symptom to add to my litany of complaints. Chronic and, yes, flaming yeast infections. If you've ever had a severe yeast infection, you know just how awful they can be. First, the symptoms include unending itching and burning, followed by an embarrassing and sometimes odor-filled discharge. Not a pleasant experience for a young woman, to be sure, but when infections seem to crop up almost as regularly as your menstrual period, it can become downright torturous. On top of these were repeated infections of other types. I always seemed to have a cold, a headache, bronchitis, or some other physical ailment. The people around me began to wonder if I was either a hypochondriac or sicker than I was letting on. I was beginning to wonder the same. I knew that I wasn't making up symptoms, so I began to fear that I had some horrible disease causing all of my problems. I began visiting every type of doctor I could get an appointment with. I started with a general practitioner and then moved on to a gynecologist, an ear, nose, and throat specialist, an endocrinologist, and so on. Still, no one could find an answer. Each new doctor would take some tests, prescribe a treatment, and say that it would fix everything. Sometimes it did seem to work for a while, but eventually my symptoms would return, oftentimes worse than before. I spent thousands of dollars on antibiotics to treat ongoing infections over the years, only to be faced with all sorts of side effects and depleted savings. Since my family helped to pay for my endless tests and medical appointments, their bank accounts were drained as well. Fed up with traditional methods, I then tried a whole new tactic. I changed my diet and began ingesting vitamin supplements like candy. If I read somewhere that it might fix one of my many medical complaints, I'd add it to my repertoire. I even tried massage, acupuncture, and chiropractics, hoping that something would ease my suffering. By the time I added up all of the expenses, I had spent enough to have purchased my first home. Yet I remained cooped up in a small apartment because I couldn't afford anything better. Worse still, I was still sick and getting sicker. I tried everything. As my 30th birthday drew near, I knew that I had to take some real action. It was time to get serious and find some answers. That's when I became a real nut about holistic medicine. I made an appointment to